Hello, hi guys. Okay, so today we're going to talk about my concern about my children. So I'm a mom of two. I have a son and a daughter now, and I'm very much happy in my relationship. The person that I'm with does prioritize his mental health, and no relationship is perfect, but we have so much in common, and I'm very much attracted to him, and like we just do our thing. So at the end of the day, it doesn't make it like, even though we are maybe the what many would consider a twin flame union, even though I don't really fully believe in twin flames, but I do think that if we like, I get where people are coming from with that, but at the end of the day, it's still a challenge, like there's still so much hatred and like division when it comes to like happy family and like being a couple. There are people that are so wicked and bitter, and like I got to a point where I'm like, hey honey, you ready to live off the grid? Like, are you ready to fully detach from modern society and all society? Like, not even just modern society, but like there are very, very unhealthy, mentally ill, toxic, traditional people who claim to have traditional values, who are conservative, but they're not conservative for the right reasons. Like, stand firm in your beliefs. Like, I have nothing. I'm more of a liberal person, but I have nothing against people who are more traditional. For example, I support gay marriage, but I also have some conservative beliefs. I'm pro-life, and being in that weird space where you're like, okay, I support gay marriage, and I'm also, for immigration. I'm also very liberal when it comes to gender roles. At the end of the day, I'm still pro-life. I think that motherhood is sacred, and I feel that, but I'm also pro like educating on protecting yourself, taking birth control, family planning, adoption. So I'm in a very unique space, and it makes me not likable, but that's not what we're here for today. I'm coming here today because I am like blown away by the large amount of young men who feel extremely lonely and entitled to a girlfriend. That's scary. Like, that worries me. I have a daughter and I have a son, and I'm like, I don't know what direction he'll be led into. I mean, I have a good feeling that it will be a proper direction as long as his father is here, but I want him to respect us enough. I want to raise a son that's going to respect us enough in our culture enough to hear us out, because what's out there in the fucking internet universe, whatever, scares me. It scares me, okay? And like, it's because people don't value free thought, spiritual growth, and with like wisdom. Like, again, I'm a very liberal person. I don't think all traditional like roles help us. In many ways, censorship of the physical form and childbirth and pregnancy and intimacy, the censorship of it has only increased people's interest in the perverting of it, if that makes sense. So like, that's why I always advocate for education. Like, sex ed is great, protection, knowing your form, the not censoring childbirth, like teaching young children about their bodies. I'm 33 years old. I've been this way for 15 plus years. Okay? So, I am very liberal person, and I think that the heavy censorship that happens in the West and even in the Middle East has doomed us. So I'm not like this ultra conservative person, but I do think that men need to be motivated, which they're not. I think that women should not seek leisure in its entirety, not understanding that, like, the whole soft life thing and child free thing. I'm not in full support of it because it doesn't really fulfill a person. It's something that will favor particular temperaments. It doesn't help everybody. So you have to know who you are, not just go and follow a trend or a lifestyle because it's easy. Because like this is my experience. Everything that was fucking hard in my life, anytime I wanted to produce something of quality, I worked very hard for it. Every hard, damn near like soul shattering experience made me a better person. So I'm very like a little iffy when it comes to the soft life, take it easy. Like, I understand that women in my communities want to live a different life and be portrayed in a truer light, because for so long we've been looked at as this strong archetype, superwoman archetype, and that's not balanced at all. Back to my concerns. Again, there is a large number of men who are lonely and they're on this platform talking, and they're young, and they talk about how they resent women. They feel entitled to having a girlfriend. They're lonely, they hate the world, and they want to be violent. Not everyone's on here like saying, "Oh, I want to be violent. I want to go out and just unalive myself or others." But there's enough people on different forums and this platform that are headed in that direction and also voicing that. And it's worrying me. Like, I didn't know it was this bad. Like, I don't know. I was living under a rock. I was living in a shed somewhere. There are groups of people. There's even I have a whole like stalker who is a part of this really weird group of people that and the many people like this in northern India and regions in northern India, for example. And what they do is they just exploit women, and they will just invest in coming here to be more exploitive, because they have this idea that, you know, you could have whatever you want, and then they get here and it's like, no, you can't have that. And then there's this bitterness and hatred. And then it's also happening here. Like, it's not just like people who immigrate here and they have certain attitudes and then they become aware that, like, you just, you know, gotta be a lawful person and actually be mentally stable, you know. It's so like these people, not everyone's like this, but there's a alarming amount of young people that are now coming into this country, and they're people that are here who are citizens, and they just have this attitude, and it freaks me out. And I think it's happening because men are lacking motivation. I also think that we're having a mental health crisis, and I also feel like people are detached from all emotion because they don't know how to properly release and manage their trauma. I think that also younger people, younger than me, I'm in my mid-30s, are overly stimulated where they can't process anything properly. Like, my daughter is the alpha. That's her generation. And she has a hard time with processing. Processing it's difficult now because of the overstimulation. Everything's fucking short circuit. And that's a whole nother video. How it affects young men mentally, and even young women, is that there's no stability or like foundation or long-term anything. Everything when it comes to relationships is short-lived. Everything when it comes to work and studying and investing is all like short-lived, and people have certain fixes. But the thing is, it will only hurt you in the long run. I mean, in the past, there was like men collectively gathered together to exploit and oppress and conquer tribes of people, and they exploited the women, and they gathered them, and they did all types of atrocities in the name of power and conquest. Today it's just pure bitterness, lack and devoid of emotion, and nihilism. Like, that's the difference. And I'm not saying that people are actually out there collectively, like on horses, like robbing, raping, stealing, and genociding yet. I mean, like, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, and you can say she's out there, but what I see online and what people are cooking up and what they're voicing will only take physical form. Like, it will only manifest. And so I would say, and this is a very unpopular, I guess, opinion, but I would say take up arms, protect yourself, protect your daughters. Like, if you're a healthy man that cares about your family, like, protect them, because there's like a lot of young people that are just not there and they need help. There's lack of access to proper care. I live in a country where there's mass shootings, and most of the mass shooters are men. You have this growing number of people that belong to a group that just purely hates women. The group starts with an I. I'm not going to say the name. You should know what group I'm referring to. Someone mentioned in one of my videos that it's spiritual warfare. I believe it is spiritual warfare. Yes, I think that anytime you're reduced to your form, made to obsess over something that is outside of yourself, you want to have a superficial attachment, and you are willing to become an animal to get that, is spiritual warfare. It is it is in its entirety, it is the evolution.